I think it's critical. First and foremost, if you look at the growth plan itself, it looks at the region as a whole. And I think it's critical for all of us to understand that in this particular case, size matters. So the bigger the region, the bigger the countries, the more economic power, the more opportunities you create. And I think, from the European perspective, looking at the Western Balkan as a whole, in terms of the growth plan and everything that the both growth and reform agenda assume, I think it's a great opportunity to accelerate our growth and to converge our economies even faster. Mentioning the presentation that we just saw, I just want to mention just one maybe interesting figure or fact. If you look at the GDP per capita in Serbia 2012, it was around 4,800 euros per capita. Okay, now it's 15,800 plus or minus, right? So it's more than doubled. And if you look at the growth rate, it's 160% over the period, which is the fourth largest or fastest growth in terms of the GDP per capita in Europe. Ireland, I think, was number one, Romania, and I think Bulgaria.
What's driving it?
It's actually a very good question. There are three things that drive that. One is the investments, because as you guys know, we invest this year, 7.4% of our GDP goes into capital expenditures. We're currently building 10 new highways in Serbia, plus investments in energy, high-speed railway network. All those public investments help accelerate the growth. They contribute to the employment as well. At the same time, we have the consumption, personal consumption, which is in real terms positive, hugely contributes to the growth, which is not what I'm saying. It's also, if you look at any credit rating report of Serbia, that's going to be one of the conclusions, as well as if you look at the IMF's report. And also, you have the third factor, which is actually the FDIs. More than 60% of all of the foreign direct investments flowing into the Western Balkan region come to Serbia. Last year, we had 5.2 billion euros, record-breaking figure for us. And then
what
you
are the
actually
sources
see
of that investment? Can we break it down?
Well, it's dominantly from the European Union into manufacturing. That's why you see the reindustrialization in Serbia in the last couple of years, and the effect of that are increase in exports and increase in imports as well. But the structure of imports changed. Now it's more equipment, technology, instead of just consumer goods as it used to be 10, 15 years ago. So from that perspective, just to come back, Vladimir, to your initial question, I think looking at the Western Balkan as a whole, I think it's very important. The growth plan contributes hugely. It actually, pushes us to be more efficient, to continue with the reforms, to continue with further integration. I personally think that all of the highways, roads, and high-speed railway networks that we create in the region will help future growth. But also, I think it's critical for all of us, coming back, for example, to the Open Balkan initiative to invest more into the labor market in terms of the education, as OECD's report just pointed out. I think it's critically important for the long-term sustainable growth of the whole region. As far as competitiveness in Serbia is concerned, we are a small country. So we are opening our economy, and we have been, opening our economy for years now. I think the proof of that is simply that we have so many free trade agreements. Just to remind you, not only with the neighboring countries through the CEFTA agreement, but also with the Eurasian Union, with Turkey, with the Emirates, with Egypt, with China, for that matter. So what we've decided, apart from us heavily investing in the infrastructure, thus increasing the quality of infrastructure, heavily investing in the living standards of people, increasing salaries, pensions, minimum wage as well, we have actually decided to open our economy because the best way to increase competitiveness is actually to allow other companies to enter, thus bringing new technologies, new management, new systems, IT, etc., etc. Now, having said all of that, Serbia, as you know, has been on the EU path for more than 2 decades now. So pretty much all of the laws and bylaws that we have been adopted are aligned plus or minus of 100% with the European Union. What we have very aggressively is that by the end of next year, 2026, we will adopt and or amend each and every legislation to be in accordance with the EU. That's
including the free trade agreements.
The free trade agreements, as we said, the moment we become the full member of the EU, will cease to exist. So this is maybe my most important message to all of you today here. So basically, Serbia will be, until the end of next year, aligned formally with all of the laws and bylaws as far as the EU is concerned. Now, whether we're going to become the full member of the EU or not, it's a political decision, but as far as Serbia is concerned, it's a proof that we are willing to take whatever it needs to increase the competitiveness, the legislation, the business environment in our country by adopting the EU legislation. So state aid, for example, I mean, we're pretty much aligned. As you know, and our commission, State Aid Commission, has excellent relationship with the EU. We have to amend, those laws as well, which is part of the reform agenda, which we are doing, goes everything well. Just for this particular case, just for you to know, all of the changes to those laws have been sent to the European Commission. We are waiting for their comment, and then we're just going to adopt them. I think it's very important to show that in this particular case. So all in all, state aid, I mean, we have to follow that regulation. It has to, it will contribute to the overall competitiveness of the market. But having said all of that, by opening our economy as a small economy, we have no other choice but to be, how would I say, more competitive than some big players simply because of the size of the market and everything else. So I hope that answers your question. I would just like to reiterate once more, we are firmly on the EU path, and Serbia is committed to, as fast as possible, EU integration. That's very important. Number two, don't get me wrong, but it's a two-way street. So it's not that everything depends on us. And we've been in the process for 25 years now. I think we've done a lot, and hopefully, as some of the panelists just mentioned, now is the time just to kind of finish the process. Hopefully, all bring it to its end one way or another, because I don't think we have a choice. Again, we are part of the European family. We are part of Europe, and we simply, once and for all, want to finish this formal process of becoming the full-fledged member of the EU. Number three, about the reforms, because if you look at the OECD's report and everything else, since 2015, we have the lasting agreement with the International Monetary Fund. And the core of that agreement are actually reforms in different areas: education, taxation, public management, SOEs, etc., etc. So irrespective of the EU path itself, because of the citizens of the Republic of Serbia, because of our policy, we are fully committed to continuing the reforms as is. That's the only way to grow forward. That's the only way to increase the quality of life and the standard of living. As far as the WTO is concerned, there are certain obstacles that we have. There are certain challenges. I think it would take too much time right now to discuss, because I see the timing, and I guess other panelists need to talk. But us being open, us becoming the member of the EU is one way or another. We also have to be part of the WTO. So it's not going to be an easy process for us because of the reasons I guess people know. But we'll finish that as well. I mean, so far we have proven to be very resilient and very committed when we determine what the goals are.